Canto 3 of Satyavan and Savitri, Book of Love, Book 5, third canto. Just a little background about the statistics of this canto. In this particular canto, we had 3 sections. Section 1, starting from 103.1 to 103.76. This is section 1. In other words, there are 76 sentences in section 1. 76 sentences in section 1. And there are in all 321 lines. In section 1, 321 lines. Then section 2 is a short one, from 104.1 to 104.21. There is 21 sentences and 86 lines in section 2. And section 3, 105.1 to 105.10, that is 10 sentences with a total number of 37 lines. So we have got therefore 76, 21, 10 number of sentences in these respective sections, and correspondingly the lines are 321, 86 and 37 in this section. So the total number of lines we have in this particular book is 444, and total number of sentences 107 sentences. 444 lines, 107 sentences. And matter of general interest, for instance here the second sentence, yet in the heart the secret conscious selves at once aware grew of each other, warned by the first call of a delightful voice and the first vision of the destined fate. It is a 4-line sentence. 4-line sentence we're calling stanza. So there are in all 18 stanzas in this particular book. Now, this is an important statistics from the point of view of the inspiration falling into certain patterns. Sri Aurobindo in the earlier phase of writing was constantly sort of slipping into writing 4-line sentences, stanzas. Constantly. It was kind of a natural thing, it was happening that way. But then he was not happy with that, it should be a kind of a continuity of stanzas in the epic, because it brings a kind of a monotony to the flow of the poetry itself. So he sort of wanted to break off from stanzas. Still, we see that everywhere in Savitri, in every section, there are more number of, roughly I will say 25%, if not more, are stanzas. Means if you take 100 sentences, there are about 25 stanzas in each. And then the remaining 75 are distributed 1 line, 2 lines, 7 line, 10 line sentences like that. But the grouping of stanza is quite prominent in the composition of Savitri. So we have got 107 sentences and 18 stanzas. So that way, in this particular book, the number of stanzas is less than 25%. In a way, this is understandable also, because the whole tone, the whole mood of this particular book is lyrical, and it has a natural tendency to have that kind of freedom. But in other parts, the stanzas are quite prominent, number of stanzas in each canto. Now, here in the original edition, we have got total number of 444 lines in canto 3, in this particular canto. In the revised edition, there is one extra line, 445. One line is not present here. Now, how it happened, we don't know, etc. All that. But the comment which is made is the line was omitted. In the earlier edition, the line was omitted. Now, whether line was omitted or it got advertently dropped. See, omitted means as if deliberately omitted. If it is advertently dropped, it is a separate sense to be see in that sense. But anyway, I mean, even if that line is missing, the continuity, the theme, the development, it does not give any break as such. The whole thing, the whole sense flows pretty well with the line or without the line as such, you see. So, 444 lines in the first edition. Actually, we have got in the 1950 edition 444 lines. In the 1954 edition, the university edition, that also has 444 lines. But the extra line, 445th line, appeared for the first time in the centenary edition, 1972. 1972, you see. And that has been retained by the revised edition. But our policy here is to go strictly by the 1950 edition, and we are retained in all our formulation the 1950 text, first edition text, you see. Now, if there are departures, they can be discussed separately, but we should not depart from the original text as such, you see. That's the whole idea. Now, with this little background, I had told you already how the book of love was composed and all that thing earlier. So we can now go ahead with the text proper, and suddenly you are taken to a different land, to different space-time. The very first line out also. Actually, different land, different space and time is already indicated by the last line of the previous canto. The last line of the previous canto says very clearly, "An hour began the matrix of new time." Now, this is a very loaded statement, and it is the opening of this new time that we shall start seeing now in this particular canto. How the new time is really beginning with this one, an hour. So, in a way, an hour began the matrix of new time is something we should remind us, rather we should recollect the very first line itself, the opening line of Savitri. It was the hour before the gods awake, the hour before the gods awake. Now here, matrix of new time, an hour began, matrix of new time. So the first line gets immediately connected with the matrix of new time, an hour began. In other words, the gods are going to be awake now. The gods are going to be awake, and that will be the matrix of new time. Now, how the gods are going to be awake, by what agency, by what mechanism, I mean, the key for all that rests in the meeting of Satyavan and Savitri. Of the hour of the gods getting awake, it kind of rests in the meeting of Satyavan and Savitri. That is what it would mean, basically, you see. Out of the voiceless mystery of the past. So, voiceless mystery of the past, when the gods were asleep, and nothing was happening. It was dumb, it was mute, nothing was being said. In a present ignorant of forgotten bonds. Now, in a present, the matrix of new time, an hour began, that is the present, that they are coming together. Here are they approaching each other, ignorant of forgotten bond. Now, it looks as though from nowhere appears Satyavan, from nowhere appears Savitri, and at this distinct meeting place, at this distinct hour, they are going to meet. And therefore, they were ignorant of each other, forgotten bonds. They already had ancient bonds through ages. We have already seen that thing. Yuge, yuge, age after age, they have been meeting and coming together. But because they had taken the human birth, that memory is not there. And therefore the bond, but it does not mean that the bonds are not there. The memory of the bonds is not there. Bonds have been always there. In a present, ignorant, forgotten bonds. Therefore to us it looks as if they are coming from nowhere and meeting suddenly like that and falling into love with each other suddenly like that. Love at first sight, as we said. So it is not that. It is there all along. These spirits met upon the roads of time. These spirits, that of course refers to the immortal spirits of Satyavan and Savitri, but they had taken the human birth. Therefore, on the roads of time, they had taken human birth. Therefore, on the roads of time, they are meeting. It is, in a way, by chance, in a way, by an accident, as we have already seen, that they got touched in time and things were done. That kind of a chance is there. Some design is also there behind it, and therefore they met upon the roads of time. See, I mean, in the wilderness, there is absolutely no possibility. In fact, what I have been saying in the language of physics, the cross section of interaction is extremely small. I mean, suppose for a second this man is late, or that girl is late, things would have gone. It has to happen exactly at the same place at the same time. So the cross section of that happening is very, very small, but it does happen. See, because there is a sort of a design behind it. God touched in time, and the memory awoke. Yet in their heart, the secret conscious self, because they had taken the human birth, they are on the roads of time, the bonds were forgotten. Yet in the heart, the secret conscious selves at once aware grew of each other, warned by the first call of a delightful voice and a first vision of the destined face. Now, again, there is this puzzling phrase here. At once grew aware of each other. Okay, that's all right. That is clear enough, so to say. Warned by the first call of delightful voice. Nobody has spoken so far. Neither Satyavan has spoken nor Savitri has spoken. Yet there is a delightful voice. We have seen earlier also, no? The chariot stood like an arrested wind, and he felt the voice of he felt the liquid voice, you see, felt the liquid voice. Now it is that voice, it is that inner voice which is being heard. It is sort of coming out in time, on the roads of time, that inner voice, the delightful voice. It is that which is indicated. They are not spoken yet so far to each other, neither Satyavan nor Savitri. By the first call of delightful voice and the first vision of the destined face. First vision of the destined face. Now, obviously, this would correspond more. This would correspond more to Savitri. It is Savitri who is seeing the destined face. Well, I mean, the phrase is such that it could be applied even to Satyavan, you see. But because it is Savitri who is in the quest, it is she who is going to see the destined face. Destined face. It is Savitri's destiny in that sense. And a first vision of the destined face as when being cries to being from its depths behind the screen of the external sense and strives to find the heart disclosing word. Well, this is plain poetry. As when being cries to being from its depths. So they are not speaking, but there is something from within which is coming out, which is speaking out, which is giving inaudible utterance to their expression and strives to find the heart disclosing word, the passionate speech revealing the soul's need, but the mind's ignorance veils the inner sight. Only a little breaks through our earth-made bounds. So now they met in that momentous hour, that momentous hour. That is the significant hour. That is the important hour when things are going to happen in a very dramatic manner, in a far-reaching manner, with consequences which will turn things totally in a different manner of deep consequences. Therefore, momentous hour, it is of course a very crucial kind of a meeting. It is not only crucial, it is also a serious meeting. It is going to decide the entire future of this creation. So in that sense, it is a very crucial meeting also. It is destined phase in that sense. It is going to decide the entire future of the creation. And it is that total significance which is embedded in the momentous hour, that moment. Now, of course, that hour we have seen earlier also in the early morning, maybe around 8 o'clock. So it is that momentous hour which is going to decide things. So utter the recognition in the deeps. This is important because it says no earlier, being cries to being from its depths. It is not the human person who is speaking or giving utterance. Something from within is speaking out, and it is that which is telling. So utter the recognition in the deep, the remembrance and lost, the oneness felt and missed. It is that which has been recaptured in that particular moment. And obviously, thus Satyavan spoke first to Savitri. Obviously, it is the young man who is going to make advances towards the young girl. It is sort of natural. And the example which I had given you last time, it is the male cuckoo bird which does mostly shouting. So it is that, and it is he who has to take the initiative. He has to take the lead and approach Savitri. Thus Satyavan spoke first to Savitri.